Here we are. Hold on, man. Let me back up. So, fuck it,
Shit
man. We
started
running.
like that.
We
Go.
live,
I'll
man.
just say
Shit.
go.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
this
yeah, man.
is.
Because
Go. Yeah.
Spike had a comment right before I started, and it threw me off a little bit, man. But here we are, man. We back at
We were
it again.
debating. We were debating on cold opens or intros. So y'all let us know which ones y'all like more.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that. Let me put my stuff on D&D. I forget the name of the J. Cole song, that Dreamville, where he talked about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Should I do this one or should I use the other intro? But if I use the other intro, people they gonna know I ain't do this in one take. Either way, here we are.
Did you
man.
ever listen to that podcast? The J. Cole
Which one?
one?
No, I actually, you know what, I didn't, and I was the one saying
I
that
didn't either.
that would intrigue me, and I did not. That's the one that costs money, right?
Here. Yeah, it cost $10, and I paid
episode?
for like $10. I think for access to the site. For access to the site. Access to the site.
Yeah, I'm gonna circle back at some point, man. That's the thing. There's so much stuff to watch and listen to that you got to make a list. You have to make a running list, otherwise you're gonna forget about things, and it happens from there. Book 2, chapter 41. Another week in the books. We back at it. I'm your host, Rich, joined by the legend Spike Lou. It's funny, Spike, because Phil's catching up on the episode. He was listening to our Have We Met Before, the one we did when we were just, finding out more about each other. And he was listening to your breakdown of the Spike. And he was like, man, so if Spike started a movement, you know what I mean? Like, would you join? Would you be Spike Rich? Like, would you be, you know what I mean? I was like on some ASAP shit. He was like, yeah,
I thought about that before too.
I thought about that before. Thought about it. He was like, Spike Phil don't sound the name, but you don't sound it. They don't got that ring to it. But when Spike broke it down, it makes sense. So, hey man, might be onto something. Might get you a Rihanna.
I need that first and foremost. But no, I've thought about that too. Shout out to Phil, but like that was my dilemma in like people when people started calling me Spike. Because then it's like, this nigga name. Like, and that was like the whole why I ain't really pushed the merch like I should. Like, I still haven't made a deliberate like thing as to what Spike means versus a nigga buying a t-shirt and it having my name on it. That shouldn't be the first thing that resonate with you. It should be like Nike or something. Like when you see Nike, you see just do it. When you see Spike, you should think seek presence, information, knowledge everywhere, and that should be the brand. But I haven't done a good job in that messaging, so that's been the hold up on me pushing the merch. But I've had the same, like I thought the same thing, like he was saying with ASAP, but I haven't done a good job with that transition of it. It's funny too. I was doing this to Mike still on this week, and Mike asked me the same question verbatim that you did. And he said he was thinking about it. He was like, bro, I've been podcasting with Spike. He was like, nigga, I don't even know your name. He said, I thought your government name was Spike. That's what he told. He said the same thing that you called. Well, you ain't say that when you called, but of the same vein. And he was like, bro, I don't even know what your name is. So I don't know if it's good or bad. Yeah, I don't know.
It just shows us opportunity for growth.
Facts.
I don't think it's one way or another. I don't think it's good or bad because we've been spending our whole lives doing this, and we talked about it ad nauseum. Us as men are able to navigate like that. The details don't matter to us as much as it does to women or other people. So I can go hoop with a nigga and see him every Tuesday at 6 o'clock at the gym for 5 years, and it doesn't bother me. Like, I'll never be up at night thinking like, damn, what's homie name that? You know, we got that nice jump shot. Like, it don't matter. We just see it, and you can run into him in public in a different setting. Run into him at the bar, and you have a whole conversation. And that's when it really like, damn, what's the little name, man? I don't even know. And then also that sense of embarrassment, like, man, I know you way too long. Known in air quotes, way too long to not know your name. But somebody got to step up and say, you know what? I don't know it. For some reason, I don't know what it is, that human element of feeling. I forget what writer said this. It was an old school writer back in the day. But humans are the only mammals that blush or feel the need to.
Yep, that's
you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that quote from the movie Finding Forrester.
But that's an actual fact. Like, humans are the only animals that do blush. Yeah,
but it's a fact, and it's just like, I wonder what that is. Maybe it's because Our greatest strength is our brain power.
Can black people blush?
There's an equivalent, I'm sure. You probably can't see it, but you can tell it's happening.
You feel the same feeling that white people
Yeah,
do
you
when
feel
they
the
do
same
it.
feeling. You know what I mean? Just that rush of I don't know. I don't want to say embarrassment, but a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It is what it is. How does that make you feel though when you
What?
when people that you worked with or spend time with say like, I don't even know your name or I don't know this, like how does that do you feel like you're making a strong enough impact? Like, is there part of you that says, you know, when I came up with Spike, the whole point of it was for people to know exactly what this meant and to start a movement, and here I am working with people for X amount of years and they don't even know? Do you ever feel any of that falls on your shoulders, like, damn, I'm really dropping the ball? Or do you just look at it as, it just is what it is? Like, the niggas just go by nicknames and they just thought it was Spike.
That's a good question. I didn't start it for that though. That was a thought process that came later on. That to what you're talking about and what Phil talking about. I originally only started it as a pen name. Like,
Okay.
so if I liked Spike Lee's creativity, how he was a known filmmaker, and you know, like his name Spike Lee meant something. I wanted to bring that same energy to the content creation world really early on when me and AB started. And I even told AB this. I was like, bro, you need something. And that's how he came up with the acronym AB, which he's changed and updated now. But I was like, there has to be something else where people, it can't just be Lou and his real name is Chris. It can't just be that. Like, it has to be something more to it. We have to create a personality, Charlemagne the God, or something of that nature. So when we were building our first website and we had to do the about me thing and all of those different stuff, I knew I wanted to use the Spike thing, but I was like, well, it has to mean something. I can't just be Spike Lou because it sounds similar to Spike Lee and it's catchy. That Spike has to mean something. Okay, so I need an acronym for it. And this before Chat GPT 2 people. I didn't put this in. It wasn't a prompt. Like I came up with this myself. So, okay, I was like, let's create an acronym that makes Spike Lou make sense because I always love how Spike Lee ring out. That's just like, to me, that's one of the most fire names. Nigga named Spike Lee, and you body in the movies and shit. Not the last one. We'll get into that.
Well, we're gonna talk about it.
Get into that. And you body in movies. People look at you as a creative. I wanted people to look at me as a creative, so that was a strong influence. So I wanted to do the Spike Lou, Spike Lee playoff or whatever it may be, but I knew Spike had to mean something. So for it to mean something to me, those are the things that I came up with. Seek presence. It was seek power, information, and knowledge first, but it grown to speak presence, information, and knowledge. Because seeking power I don't think that ain't a objective I want to live by. But presence, people knowing who you are, knowing you in the room, people like, oh no, that's him, or whatever it may be. And I ain't saying that's him in some like a star-studded nature, but that's him in the sense of I fuck with his energy. I fuck with what I've heard from him. I want to know that person. So seek presence, information, knowledge, and everywhere is the moniker that I came up with. And I never really thought it would be until I got continuously deeper into this content space. It's like, that's actually a branding thing. That's the same thing with Just Do It or whatever it is you would do with any other top brand that has a moniker. So it didn't hit me until after people had started calling me Spike. And like that, there's a conflict here.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, no.
How did you?
Very long form time.
How did Spike catch on? Because it's not like you know, most niggas can't. If I said tomorrow, like, hey, y'all start calling me Richie Rich, I don't know, instead of just Rich, like nigga, get the fuck out of here. Like, how did Spike even catch on? Like, to the point where people were calling you Spike? Did it happen over time where you were introducing yourself as that? Were you saying Spike Lou or Spike?
The most powerful, like me and AB was doing how I felt like it catched on, and I didn't even realize this until I said this to somebody and they responded back to me. Me and AB went to a content creator thing or whatever it may be, and we got finished with it. We were having tea at this tea shop here in Atlanta, and there was this chick there that AB recognized from being in some reality TV show with like polygamy or whatever the fuck it was. She was cool.
Fuck,
One of them
fuck I be
earthy.
watching, man.
Right. That's what I said. I was like, bro, how the fuck you know her? Me and you think the same shit, bro. Because I swear to God, I said the same shit. And when he said, man, that's Gail from such and such, I was like, from what? Nigga, what? Why are you watching that?
Yeah, what you got going on, man?
He knew her. So AB went up to her and he was like, did you play in such and such? Well, he didn't go up to her. I ain't gonna paint him like that, like the fanboy, because we just talked about that on deck. Check that out. But no, we were talking. She was sitting at the table. He said something to her and he was like, hey, did you play in such and such? She was like, yeah, that's me. And it was some polygamous or whatever it may be. And she asked us our names and our Instagrams and whatever it may be. And I told her, she was like, what's your name? I said, I am Spike Lee. She's like, oh my God, that was so, that because she wanted them earthy waist beads, crystals, one of them dreadlocks shit. She wanted them.
Okay.
She was like, the way you introduce yourself is not my name is this is that, it's I am Spike Lee. And I think that's how it caught on. And I think other people never expressed that to me in that way like she did, because she was more in touch with that type of spirituality, whatever it may be. But once I created the moniker, I always introduced myself as I am this versus this is my name. So when I say I am this, they ran with it, and that's how people start calling me.
Was there any thought into it, like when you were making your social media? Because all your social media handles are I am Spike Lee. Was there any thought to put the I am versus just putting Spike Lee? Because you easily, I'm sure, could have just put Spike Lee and called it a day.
It's some other nigga out there named Spike Lee, though. It's a comedian, something. I don't want to give him a lot of shine, but I think I had to do the I am. I think I had to do
so
that.
It happened to be it was forced like that. Okay,
it just happened. But again, that's how the universe works. And it all added up together. So how people start calling me, like you said, I start introducing myself as I am that. And then people start running with that. And now people call me and refer to me as that.
That's actually pretty fire, man. I like the Spike ASAP comparison, man. I think you should do something with that. I think you should.
I think it's a thing. Yeah.
You take some time to brand it out. You need some sort of videographer. I see it. All right. So I'm seeing random clips of you just doing what you're doing, like a photo shoot or something, right? But it's a video, but it's a narration of you explaining what Spike Lee is and the whole nine. And maybe you have the merch on and everything else, and it's just like it's a movement, not just a name. You could even start it with, a lot of people mistake me for being Spike. I just embody Spike and what Spike means and break it down.
I need you to be creative director, Rich. We gotta,
we gotta talk offline and work on this. I love it, man. I love doing that.
I've been thinking about how to try to do that because, again, I want people to look at that and not think about me, but think about like Nike and just do it. Like, I'm gonna buy this shirt because I have accepted that this is my lifestyle and this is what I'm trying to do, not because I fuck with Spike. Like, you put this hat on, you put this shirt on, you do this. It's like, nah, it ain't got really shit to do with him. It got more to do with the message, and he came up with that, and I'm fucking with that. Like, I go out of my way to buy Nike for the just do it shit. Like, that has resonated with me for my whole life, and I want the same thing for like Spike.
Yeah, and you can get there. I think that's dope, especially when you for some reason hearing you introduce it. I am Spike Lee, because it's not. I don't think of Spike. I think of Spike, but in the sense of you still Lou, but the Spike means something. You know what I mean? And if you didn't know you would think that Spike Lee was just one name, and it's like, nah, Spike is the acronym and the whole nine. But I love to come up with something and shoot it your way to get done, because as I said,
we got to get in the lab, man. We've been missing each other, busy life, podcast, and we have to figure out what we said we was gonna figure out from a media standpoint and that standpoint too.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm learning about. Not learning, I kind of knew it, but I'm really comfortable with it. And I'm going to ask you this question, but I want to kind of break down what I mean. When you're in this space, and a part of this comes from, I was today I was scrolling online and I just happened to see, I saw a random post about Bill Simmons losing his fastball. Right, somebody was saying Bill Simmons losing his fastball, and he's returning. They specifically say he's becoming the guy that he made fun of 20 years ago. Right, just like the old time out of touch person, whatever. That's neither here nor there. Bill Simmons always holds an intricate part in this media journey for myself because he was the BS report before it was a ringer, before there was any ringer, before there was Grantland, before any of that. The BS report was the first podcast that I listened to. I don't know if I told this story before, but I remember getting an iPhone 3. It's back in like 2009. I had an iPhone 3, right? Back when AT&T, fuck AT&T, Singular. Singular was the only people that helped.
I was still with BlackBerry.
So it was my first phone after my BlackBerry. Singular AT&T was the only company that even carried it. They had an exclusive contract. So I remember getting it in the middle of the mall in Toledo, right? Went to the AT&T stand, got a new contract, we good. The reason I'm bringing this up is back in the day, and the iPhone was such such an early version of it that they didn't even have YouTube. YouTube was on there, but it was like a little brown TV. It wasn't like an exclusively licensed YouTube thing. But I remember I watched PTI all the time. You know what I mean? This is back when I was watching ESPN. Like I would watch SportsCenter 5 times in a row. Like literally, like just keep that shit on loop. PTI was something I would watch all the time, but I was working retail. So I'm like, damn. And I noticed if you go to ESPN.com from the iPhone, they had this thing called podcasts. Mind you, once again, this is before the podcast app was even on the phone. So I'm like, damn, okay, I can listen to the show here. And I was a big Bill Simmons fan. And I was like, okay, I can listen to the BS report here. And I'm like, okay, then that's what I started listening to. So Bill is always like what he's done from a media standpoint is something that I aspire to do. So it was funny hearing someone say he was losing his fastball because my first thought was like, damn, I guess that's inevitable for all of us. I know we look at athletes and say at some point you're gonna slow down, you can't do this forever. And then I thought about, as people who are in media, you got to stay sharp. Otherwise, you can become one of those old, washed out voices. You have the same thoughts. Nothing's new. You're not even aware. That's which is a big fear. You're not even aware that you're getting stale. You know what I mean? You just kind of doing and you resting on your laurels, and you never know what you want to do. When I started recording, bro, I wanted to talk about movies. That's it. I just wanted a platform to talk about something I loved, and now it's evolved into all of this. I'm a part of 6 different shows, but it made me think like, damn, I'm finally comfortable with her. I don't have to be. I've always said I love producing, but I'm really on some, like, I don't have to be on the mic. I don't have to be in front of the camera. I can easily help people create things. I can hear you talk about a vision for what Spike is and immediately start thinking, especially people that I know that are dope, and start being like, all right, man, this is how we're going to get you to this point, or this is a vision that I have for you. And even shows, there have been shows where I'm like, yo, this is a dope idea. I don't want to do it. Like, I don't think I would ever do a music podcast unless it's very, very niche. Like maybe like a mini series on Jay-Z or something like that. But I have ideas and I'm like, I talked to you on AB and that's still going to happen, right? About that idea that I had.
Yeah.
About like being
a
historian and the whole
not too much on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And all of that stuff. It was just one of those things like, I don't need to have this.
So you feel more comfortable. Do you feel more comfortable but behind the mic, or
I think
you like being like on the mic? And I want to give more context to the question before you ask.
Yeah.
Because me, Nick, and AB went to go play golf when Nick was in town from Connecticut not too long ago. And we were having a conversation about being famous.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them said, I don't want to be famous. I would rather be rich. Which, of course, like I think that's normal for people like us. Normal people. Like there are people that want to be famous, and I get that. Like have fun with it. But it did make me think deeper about it because there is some satisfaction in, because this has happened to me before. Like where people see you and they ain't the overly zealous people. They not the, oh, this person getting on my nerves. It's just like, hey, bruh, I know who you are and I fuck with you.
Mm-hmm.
You've gotten me through this. I've done this while listening to your part. Like that has happened. People have came up to me, they've said that.
That's what's up, man. That's dope.
I was in a, you know what I'm saying? So if they saying I was in a low spot, this helped me through this phase or whatever it may be, there's some satisfaction to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, like, money is great. I want money, absolutely.
Yeah.
But sometimes that right there, and that ain't being famous. So that's why I struggle with it.
That's making an impact.
Exactly. So you rather make an impact
100%
and make money than be famous.
100%. And it's funny you even talk about that, because that's where the whole thought came from. You don't, like I said, I didn't really know what it is, or even I think most people, whenever they enter an industry or a space like that, they think of it being one thing, right? They think about this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get there. And then as you continue to do it, you realize, oh man, this might not be my passion. I always tell people, just as important as knowing what you want to do is knowing that you don't want to do it. You get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you have to experience things to find out, like, oh, I thought I wanted this, but this ain't for me. And I'm comfortable being in front of the screen. I'm comfortable being on the microphone. I don't mind it at all. We had the conversation, I think, when we talked about reasonable self-doubt, where I'm not I don't want to limit it to being like a shock jock or something like that. But I'm a moderator. I'm a host. I'm not a personality, if that makes any sense at all. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm someone that keeps the conversation going. I'm not someone you tune in for the quotes. You know, every now and then I'll drop a jewel, but I just don't have that personality, and I don't want to force it because I can't do anything forced. You are a personality. Rachel's
I was just about to say that.
Portia
it was funny that
is a course personality.
Even Moses to some degree. Alike. Yes.
Because he's so unique in his stance. Yeah.
Facts. Me and you are so much alike, but that is a difference in it. And what you're saying, explain it. Like, I would say I'm a personality. It's not trying to be one. It's just like, it's a thought process.
Just who you are. And there's a freedom of you just saying what you feel without any kind of thoughts. Like, it's not a big deal to you. Like, this is what I think. I don't know why y'all tripping on what I'm saying. Like, it just is what it is. Let's move on. And there's just something I'm like, I'm very, whatever. It is what it is. And I don't care to be on that. So I'm saying that to say, I found out that producing and being behind, and you watch the morning show, right? On Apple?
Yes. Yeah.
That's coming back on, and I'm doing a rewatch right now, getting ready for the new season. Yeah,
shit,
I'm doing a rewatch. Getting ready for the new season. I'm thinking of somebody like Chick, right? The EP of the show. And I'm like, I could be Chick. Like, I could be Chick. I don't gotta be, nigga, I could be the one pulling the strings. And I have some real stake in the game. Or skin in the game, as they say. I'm a professional. I've got these relationships with people that matter, but I also am not going to be walking down the street and a ton of people flock up to me like they would. I forget Jennifer Aniston's character, or what you call it. It's like, whatever, it's like the music executive versus being the actual music star.
So let me ask you this: in your value system, because I've heard this conversation being had throughout the week, and it's interesting that you bring this up. Does being Chip to you hold more value than being Jennifer Aniston? Like, well, damn, I need to put this where people understand what we're saying if they don't watch the morning show. Does being the executive to you hold more value than being the talent?
It depends on who the talent is. I think being executive and the talent is a marriage. I don't want to just be like, for me, I wouldn't want to just produce. I would want to produce for Spike Lee. I want to produce for Rachel or for Portia.
So you wouldn't do it for anyone?
It's like a Quincy Michael Jackson thing. It's
like a Denzel
Spike. It's Scorsese, De Niro. It's when we get in the lab, Dre and Snoop. When we get in the lab, we get magic together. And yes, I can do this for other people, but I know this person so well, and I understand what they're trying to do, that we don't even really have to. We can finish each other's sentences. I know the vision that you have just from the strength of knowing you. And it's easier to do it that way. Could I do it that way? Sure. But it's a relationship. You really got to go through it and really kind of be comfortable. You have to be comfortable having your ideas rejected, people disagreeing with you. And you can't always do that with just any Tom, Dick, and Harry. You know what I mean? There's got to be a level of trust that comes with that.
Do you think one position holds higher than the other?
Yeah, I think the talent is. I think that yeah, because
So you
not
think the talent?
everybody.
Because a lot of people will say if you take the name Dash argument, like he just going to Cam recently,
Mm-hmm.
because
And
to
you're
give
proud of
context,
it. That's so funny.
to give
Part of it is 50 your
disgust,
new
it's
boss,
disgusting.
and you're
Yeah,
proud of it.
it's disgusting. So to give context to people that don't know, and the reason I'm asking Rich the line of questions that I am, 50 just bought the rights to Paid in Full. I don't know what he gonna do with it or whatever it may be, but he
Develop
hired
it into a
Cam.
TV series.
It's gonna be power. It's only gonna be power. Like side tangent. It's only gonna be power, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be another story of power. I fuck with 50. I get it. I know you're trying to be a TV mogul, but he needs to. And just like I said about Spike Lee, which we'll talk about, and Tyler Perry, they need to hire people that are more ingrained with the culture than them trying to tell their stories the way that they do. Because I know what this is gonna be, and I'm mad that he got the rights to it. And since it's 50, it's just gonna be power told and Paid in Full style or BMF style. Ain't no like you need somebody creative to get in there and do that the right way, because a Paid in Full TV series would be absolute flames if it was somebody that knew how to make good TV.
Fair.
That's my
I agree
soapbox
with you. I
stance.
agree with you.
That's my soapbox stance.
I
On
actually
that.
don't want him to
But
do it at all. Paid in Full, just
no,
let it be.
I didn't want
Let
him
it
to do
be.
BMF. Like,
And
bro,
we see where that ends up.
You have no idea how ingrained I was in that BMF. I bought the book. I looked at all the docs. That shit was fascinating to me. And when niggas told me, oh, 50 finna make a TV show, I said, I'm never watching it. Because I knew what it was gonna be. I watched half of one episode and I was out. It was
There's
done.
no way it's coming back. There's no way it's coming back for a new season.
Because it's
no way.
How elaborate the BMF story is, you can't tell that story through 50 Cent World. Like he getting like, yeah, it is a documentary, but you can also do it as a show. But you need people that know how to do a show. Real dramas like niggas that was on FX, niggas that was on HBO. You got to bring real people in and know how to tell a story. I don't think that 50 is paying enough for people to tell stories. So I'm not that interested in it, even though I know how impactful Power was and the universe that it built. But when you talk about these important stories, to me, to people like me, when you talk about BMF and you talk about Paid in Full and Rich and Alpo and AZ and those people, like that story need to be told correctly. It can't be told like Power. Ghost is fictional, my nigga. It's fine that you tell that story like that. Ain't no real Ghost. Right. It's a real Terry. It's a real Meech. It's a real Alpo. It's a real AZ. It's a all that stuff existed. So tell it right. Don't tell it in some goofy ass fashion. And that's the reason that I never watched BMF. And since I went on that tangent, I forgot what you asked me.
We were talking about being the producer and just like the relation. Oh, you asked me what was more important or what I feel is more
Gotcha. Yeah,
I guess relevant. I don't want to say relevant. I don't know exactly the words you use.
Not even relevant. Just talent wise. Like, do you think it's a bad thing to be labeled as just talent?
No, not at all. And I think because it's never just talent. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think good talent can also produce. I don't think every producer can be talent.
Okay.
You know, it's like
that's true.
The producer rapper conversation, right? Like, yeah, you can rap. I mean, you can produce, but are you going to be a good rapper? If a hooper decides he wants to rap, nobody wants to see you go outside your box and what they know you from. Think about, even take it away from music, think about comedic actors. Think about somebody like Steve Carell, right? Since we're talking about the morning show. Steve Carell came up through the comedy world, Anchorman, 40-Year-Old Virgin, The Office, so on and so forth. As soon as he dips his toe into the dramatic side, people are like, nah, man, we want to see you back we want to see you be Michael Scott. It's like, nah, this nigga's a hell of a dramatic actor.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Like, he is. And sometimes because people are introduced to you one way, it's hard for them to grow with you in a different way. Not realizing, and that's kind of the whole basis of this conversation, why I even started this combo, is not everybody just wants to do one thing. There is an evolution with this, and there is a growth, and there's like, hey, I've done this, and I'm good at it, and I proved that I can do it. But you know what? It's a little stale to me, and I want to try to do a couple other things. Same thing with music. When Wayne was doing his rock albums, everybody's like, man, you the best rapper alive. Why the fuck are you dropping a rock album? But to him, it was like, bro, I'm bored. I want something else to do. That could be good and it could be bad.
Is being in front of the mic getting a little stale to you?
No, it's not being stale with me at all. But I have learned, and we've had this whole conversation. I haven't even gotten to the question that I wanted to pose to you. I have learned over time from doing this that I really, really love it. I don't think I would have learned. I don't think I would have known that when I first started this out. Right. I don't think I would have creating in itself, and not just creating for myself to put it out, but creating just in general. Like, this is a good idea. Somebody needs to execute it. That has been very fulfilling for me. And I wanted to know, what's the most motivated you've been since you've been in this space? Like, what keeps you going every single day? And has it gotten stale? Or are you just seeing yourself as, I can do this until I'm 70? Or do you ever have anything like, you know what, I want to take, at some point, I want to take a step back? You know, Jay-Z always talked about, I was going to drop one album. I was going to drop one album and I was going to be an executive. And we see how that worked out. Right? Sometimes you're just too good and you're too talented. I don't think you ever had the one album approach. I think you always wanted to be an on-air presence. And you're really, 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 really great at it. So it makes perfect sense. It's like a hand in a glove. But what keeps you motivated to not be someone that someone talks about on Twitter about, oh, Spike Lee getting stale? Or do you even think about stuff like that?
I don't think about stuff like that because I think my takes will always be like
Yeah.
like whatever, not even controversial, but I think my takes will always hit just
Actually,
how I think. Go ahead.
Let me rephrase it a little bit. Let me rephrase the question a little bit. Has there ever been moments throughout this journey for you where you've looked at, where you felt like you've grown in different areas, where things have changed from where you started to where you are now? Like, oh, I didn't think I had interest in this, but I do. Or has it always been, I'm just trying to be a better version of myself in what I'm doing each and every episode?
Good question. Absolutely. When I first started this, I got a text last week from Big Jeff, who's going to be on pretty soon here. We have some questions for him. But he asked me, he was like, because we took a week off for the holidays for On Deck. So we posted a retro episode, and he put it in the group chat. He was like, 2015 Lou was different. That wasn't like, that was different.
Yeah.
And I went from a place of me and my friend have hot rap takes, and we're from the South, and no one here is really doing this, to, oh no, you need to train yourself to be a media savvy person. So it started with just doing On Deck, and it went to, no, I have an opinion about sports, movies, regular issues, day-to-day talk with black men. Like, it's grown into that. So I still love that. And I don't think my opinion on any of those things, because and this maybe be gloating or whatever you call it, my opinion on that ain't like most people's, other than you. Me and you opinion usually be the same.
Yeah.
But my opinion like that ain't like most people's are. And this is where I feel most free talking about it. I ain't really trying to have a conversation with a nigga that walk up to me or a random person at work about politics. Like, this is where you get that off.
Yeah.
So that's where I get my satisfaction and fulfillment in it from, in the sense of, I know it'll never get stale because the opinions will continue to be original, or they will continue to be, ain't nobody got a perspective like this. Not to toot my own horn or anything of that nature, but I don't have these conversations randomly. Like, people come up to me and want to talk about politics, sports, what any of the things that I do on any one of my platforms, and I'll engage slightly, but I don't really care to talk to you like that, bro.
It's kind of
I'm
what
gonna
I just
take it.
mentioned when I said,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
want to
take it
just
over
produce
here
for anybody.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. Like, people either if they recognize you and want to do it, or if they recognize your aura and know you different, because I've gotten that too. It's like, you having conversation with somebody and they know you, like, I ain't the normal path of thinking. Let me continue to dig. Like, I'm not engaging that much with you. I'm going to probably back from that conversation. I don't care to have this conversation with you out on the street in the wild. It's fine. I don't give a fuck what you think about none of this, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But if I'm talking to Rich, if I'm talking to Mo, if I'm talking to AB, Mike, Ken, Broad, any of these people, and I'm making money doing this, yeah, let's have a conversation, because I know I don't think this way about this like you do.
Yeah.
So I do hold back in my real life in the sense of the conversations that I want to have with people. Like me and you was just talking about one of my other homeboys and some stuff that happened today, and it was like, I ain't really got to have this conversation with you, because I don't care what you think, and what I think is going to cause to more talking that I don't want to do. Yeah. So let's dead it. Let's move it somewhere else. Yeah. But yeah, I am really like, I pick up on that now in the sense of my conversations they're valuable to toot my own horn. I ain't finna have them with anybody. I don't do that just random talk up. Oh, you walk up to me, I know you from such and such. Like you said this, something like that. I don't, bro. I don't care. I don't know you. I don't want to do none of that. Right. But if you do it, it's different, because now me and you can hop on something and give something to the people that listen to us, some valuable information.
Let me ask you, that same situation, right? You at the bar, somebody comes up to you, they recognize you, or you might know them for such and such. There's a familiarity, but not a real relationship.
Yeah.
If they started giving their opinions versus following up on opinions that you've given, do you feel you would engage in that? Like, if it's coming from their point of view, would you chime in on something, especially if it seemed interesting or maybe seemed a little bit, or would it just be like, bro, I ain't trying to talk about this at all, nigga? You see me at the bar, I'm having a drink, I'm chilling, I'm watching the game, I'm eating these wings, nigga. Why are you talking to me?
It got to be interesting. Okay. Other than that, it's everything that you just said. Like, I don't care, bro. Like, I don't like. I may ask a question or two, and that's just the inquisitive nature of me being in my sales career, being like, ask another question, like we've always talked about on Another Week in the Books. I may hear something and be like, well, what do you mean by that? And then I hear the next answer that they give and be like, I'm not interested. I'm good. I don't give a fuck. Really, I don't really care now that you said that. But yeah, I care more about the people that I do content with. That's why I'm very specific with it. Like, I can't just do content willy-nilly. Like, I like to do content with people that I feel like they're intriguing, like you, like Ray, like it's like Portia, Mo. Like, I love to do content, and that's why people say that stuff that me and Mo did in book one is like, I was really intrigued by some of his thought processes.
Still my favorite podcast. Questions. Still to this day, my favorite podcast. Book one was my favorite podcast to this day.
You right in the sense of Mo being a personality, because there was some things that he would say what I would genuinely have questions, just from the lifestyle that he lived, from how I learned how to grow up, and it was just so completely different. And I didn't understand it, and there was this genuine curiosity for like, what? Like, I say that, and me and you got the same. I say that probably 15, 20 times a day. Like, what the fuck? But it's very rare that I choose to engage. And that's what Mo is great at, because he makes you want to choose to engage. You won't get stuck at the what with Mo. You like, no, bro. I gotta know why the fuck you just said that. Why you just say that?
Yep, absolutely, man. And it's that's interesting. That's very interesting the way you broke that down. And on the side note, shout out to Big Jeff, Dro. Talking to Q. Shout out to our Shot-Town brother, man. Q, who was on a few chapters back. The more I've been processing that conversation, I've gotten feedback about how much people enjoyed it. I'm like, you know what? I think that's the trajectory of Another Week in the Books. I've always wanted an interview show, right? And I don't want to necessarily put Another Week in the Books in an interview box, but I do think some of our best work is when we're talking to other people. You know, me and you can get on the mic and talk to each other, and it's perfectly fine. Man, it's still good content. Still want to keep that element of it. But I think that's a part of the reason why we had Portia on once a month. like talking to other people, especially people who are doing interesting things. Like if I see someone doing in a field that seems interested, or seeing them make progress or being successful, that's someone I might reach out to and shoot a DM to, which is something, once again, we talk about evolution and growth, I probably would have never done. But now it's like, hey man, I see you posting X, Y, and Z. It seems pretty interesting. Would you mind coming on and talking about it? Like all of that stuff is intriguing. So when you mention stuff like having Jeff on, when you had Dro on, Wash, J Hove, whoever the case may be, AB, all these other people, I love that. I love that because I love getting to the depth and the conversations of things, because it's really just question asking. And I think you mentioned it earlier. One of the things that we really have in common is that just that general curiosity. Like I don't want to just leave it at what you said. I want to understand why you said that and why you think like that. We were talking about the Thug interview a little bit, and I told you I watched about 30 minutes of it, and like one of the first things I said, it said it's all starting to make sense. Now that we're getting to the root of,
what was the first thing you said though? When I sent it to you, you seen it was 3 hours.
I say you watched all 3 hours of this. Hey, why the fuck would I want to sit down and watch 3 hours of a Thug interview? Like that didn't make any sense. And I literally asked Spike Lou, "You watched all 3 hours?"
Context to that, and this go to me and this is a like if you playing a drinking game, listen to this podcast, and me and Rich talk about how much we like. Take your shot right now. Big Jeff hit me up, and Big Jeff was like, "Did you watch the Young Thug interview?" And I was like, "I have no intentions of doing that.
Facts.
I don't care. I don't care enough about Young Thug. I fuck with Bank, but this is not anything that I want to see." And Big Jeff was like, "Nah." Because I feel like Big Jeff know me. He listened to a lot of the stuff that I do, so he know what will pique my interest. And that was his cheat code. And he know I know that. Yeah. And he was like, "Nah, Lou, I think you need to check it out." And I was like, and I pulled it up. And it was 3 hours long. And the first text that I sent over to Big Jeff, I swear to God, and when people think me and Rich capping when we talk about real life, the first text that I sent over to that nigga when I seen it was 3 hours, I said, "Bro, you watched 3 hours of this shit?"
Bro.
And he was like, "No, bro, watch it in spurts or whatever you need to do, but watch this video. I'm telling you."
That's so funny because go ahead.
Tell him.
Verbatim. Spike Lou, pretty much the same thing. Spike Lou took the place of Big Jeff. Spike Lou asked me, "Did I watch the Young Thug interview?" I said, "Nah." Like,
because you don't give a fuck about Young Thug.
I don't give a fuck about Young Thug. None of that stuff. And he's talking about it. And once again, to Spike Lou's point, if there's certain people that if they recommend something, I'm gonna check it off the strength. Like Spike Lou ain't just gonna send me this bullshit. He's not just good for the willy nilly of it. Just say watch this Thug interview, and I'm not gonna get something. There's something about it that's interesting, that's worth the conversation. So I'm like, all right, bet. Just off the strength of our relationship, I'm gonna check it out. I pull it up on YouTube. The first thing I see, 2 hours 59 minutes, and I immediately text Spike, "You watched 3 hours of this?" Same exact thing he did to Jeff. Same exact thing. And then he told me he watched it in spurts. So I'm like, all right, then I'm going to watch it. And normally I put it in the back burner. I started it right away. And I was very pleased. I understood. And it's not a slow burn. It don't take time to get into it. You understand right away. Okay, I understand why people are watching 3 hours of this.
Yes,
right.
Facts.
Even though I don't care about Young Thug.
It was the second. I ain't going to lie. Big Jeff didn't sell me, though. Shout out to Good Earnest Podcast. He ain't selling in the room. He like I was still like, oh no. We did on deck. And AB was like, "Did you watch the Young Thug interview?" AB know me, and me and him joke like, "Yeah, y'all definitely y'all hit a discourse on the show."
I'm about to say, here's the thing, AB, you and AB's personality so different that I can see you thinking like, bro, I ain't like if you watch it, that means I'm not.
See, that go to our mindset. I was like, I'm definitely not watching it now since you telling me to watch it. And he knew, because he knows me, what to go to. He sold it in the room. He was like, "Bro, you do another week in the books. This is a similar conversation." Now I'm intrigued. Yeah. Like, what? Like, bro, I'm telling you, Bank did a wonderful job. Like, everything that I've heard you and Mo or Rich do, this is of that same vein. So now I'm intrigued. Now I'm like, oh, hold on. Now wait a goddamn minute. Ain't nobody doing another week in the book shit out here. I'm not like we came up with that. I don't believe that. And I know for AB to say that, he ain't gonna just willy-nilly say. I've been knowing him long enough to know he know what it take for me to look or listen to something, because I know what it take for him to look or listen to something. It can't just be, hey, you should check this out. Like, it got to be some context. Why am I checking this out? And when he said it, and that's the framing that he put it in, he know how important another week in the books is to me. He know why I started this. He know what type of conversations that we're having. He's came on his platform before. He's listened. So he know how important I feel like this is for Black men, period.
Yeah.
And that was his pull. He's like, nah, as a Black man, I don't give a fuck if you care about Thug or you care about Bank or what's going on. What you do, you need to hear this. Now I'm intrigued. Now I'm intrigued. So I hit play. And from the beginning, like you said, well, I ain't even gonna cap, not from the beginning. Because he asked that first question, and I ain't gonna blow it because I want people to go listen to it. He asked that question, and I was like, oh man, where we going with this shit, bro? Like, I don't give a fuck about this nigga answer to this, bro. I don't even listen to this dude music, bro. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, fact, same.
Then he answered the question.
That's what started.
That's where,
because you don't care about Young Thug, but you care about people.
You care about Black people. Let me tell you what. It ain't even that. It ain't even care about people. One of the things that I came away with from this interview, I care about what Black men think, how they want to talk, how they want to portray themselves, what they think, and traumas that they went into. That's part of what this podcast is about. And I credit AB for mentioning, no, they're doing what you're doing. It's just a different platform.
Yeah.
And getting my mind to like, oh, what the fuck do he mean by that? And as I'm listening, I don't care about Young Thug or this situation. And there's this battle inside of me as to, bro, why am I listening to this? And it's also this thing too, you can't dismiss this though. This is good shit. Like, these are conversations that we've had on our platforms. Right? Like, so
not only that,
go ahead.
Not only that, the conversations that we've been asking more Black men to have, being more open, being more vulnerable, and as someone similar to you, don't really care about Young Thug. I remember the first time I seen him in like one of those album covers. I'm like, this the nigga y'all fuck with. Some years ago, I'm like, all right, bet. I know Young Thug is talented musically, but I just don't keep up with it. It's not all that. But to hear a Black man, it could be Earl from down the street, bro. It didn't have to be Young Thug. Just to hear a Black man talk about his past trauma and the things that have happened to it. And that's what's crazy, because that stuff is real, man. Like, there's a moment, not to give too much away, where he talked about being 8, 9 years old and seeing his brother get killed in front of him. And you can see something like that in a movie or a TV show when it's just, it's just acting. And when you hear somebody recount what that moment was like 20 plus years later and still kind of have that vivid painting of what that scene was like for 8, 9-year-old, it puts things in a completely different perspective for you. And we talked about not being surface level, being vulnerable and open. And there's not a lot of people that might have been that open and really opened up to that point to where, we get into the root of something. And all the jail phone calls and like, bro, I don't give a fuck about that, because what I said on them calls is what I said to these niggas. What I care about is X, Y, and Z. And it's just like, oh shit, like that's like, it takes a lot to be that open and to tell your side, and that's the fascinating part. So absolutely, AB was spot on with that.
He was spot on with it, and I found myself in a conflict of you trying to dismiss this interview, and it's what you trying to push. So I had to let the guards down. My guards was up because, again, like what you said, I don't care. I don't care about none of the stuff that y'all niggas got going on. I'm a regular taxpaying citizen. I don't care who's snitching, who ain't. It don't matter to me. None of that shit matters. But like you said, once they got into the conversation and you get to digging it. And shout out to Bank, man. Masterful job of conducting this interview, bro. I know you ain't all the way through with it, Rich, but when you get through with it, you like they gonna have to put some respect on Bank name. But him being the person like the OG and like guiding the conversation to, I don't care nothing about none of that, bro. All that bullshit you talking about, like snitching this, that, and third, like where do that leave you in the long run? Like how are you helping? Like some of the same again conversations that we're having on here, he was challenging him. He wasn't just asking questions, just listening. It was like, nah, bro, I'm of that ilk. You ain't gonna come up here and street talk me to death. Like, nah, nigga, I know how it go. I'm gonna ask you questions to make you really think about who you are as a man, who you are as a black man, and how you're representing yourself.
Yeah.
And that shit was beautiful. Like I ain't again, it's one I would compare that to the Cat Williams interview with Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Like
except for Bank,
right
I think Bank is a much more he's a much better interviewer than Shannon Sharp.
It's at 2.2 million views right now. Numbers really don't mean a thing, but people are looking at it. But yeah, if y'all get a chance, go check that out. You're gonna be, I feel like, really surprised at how this goes. And it did resonate with what we do here. If you are a fan of what we do here, book 1, book 2, every episode that we did, this will be an episode that resonates with you. I'm 2 hours in now. I got about an hour left. And I'm to a point where Thug done start crying. So spoiler alert, like that's how deep it get in this interview. Yeah. And it ain't that it's like just relevating information. It's just like it's black men talking, which is what this show is. This show, Another Week in the Books, is based around.
Yeah.
Like people want to dumb that down. People want to like when popular narratives about that, like why they give niggas mics for podcasts, all those things.
We're here to show you why.
Thank you. That's a good. Black men talking is an important thing because it ain't a lot of spaces that we get to get our shit off, whether it be ridiculous or not. Like I get there's some ridiculous takes out there. That's fine, but you still, I think America still as a society needs to hear how black men have conversations amongst each other and get to resolutions or get to conflict or whatever it may be without it being violent, without it being I don't fuck with you. It's just like these black men are having a passionate conversation and it gives us insight into their lives. It ain't a lot of that in America. Like ain't no movies about that. Ain't no documentaries about that. So yeah, niggas grab podcast mics.
So. Absolutely, man. That was very well said. And once again, if you still haven't thought, this is coming from two people who had zero interest in watching this interview when we're both had rave reviews of it. So check that out when you get a chance. Going back to what we kind of were speaking of earlier, I'm thinking about just being in this space, right? Do you ever stop and think about how much of a blessing it is? How fortunate it is to be able to work with people that continuously show up. You know what I mean? Like, what I mean by that is, if you look at the numbers, right? There's anywhere between 4 million to 6 million podcasts available right now. Like, from the time podcasting started, it's about 4 million to 6 million out there. Of those 4 to 6 million, only 8.5% reach 50 episodes. 50. 50. Only 8.5%. Less than 10% reach 50 episodes. And here we are. I can say that, you know, we're at 41 here, but you've already reached over 50 with Another Week in the Books because of book 1. Good earners. On deck. It's the mic. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right? I'm saying over 50, at least 50. That's what I'm saying. Another Week in the Books. Good earners. On deck. Is the mic still on? Dead end. Like all of these where you're all of this podcast, you're part of the 8.5%. You know what I mean? Which just goes to show this isn't as easy as what people think. And I also can understand why you reach a certain point and be like, nah, I'm cool. I don't know if people want that instant gratification or people want to go viral right away. And they feel like they should be plastered all over people's social media and YouTube off of 20 episodes. But it don't really work like that. Unless you are unless you've had a previous career where you were already famous, that's usually the only where it cracks. If you starting from the ground up, or unless you're close to someone you're sitting next to. I think about, and that's not even shade. I think about Jason Kelsey's wife. She comes out the gate with the podcast and is #1 all the way across. Even
Matt
Joe
Stafford
Rogan.
wife.
Joe Rogan been around, man. The Man Show. Joe Rogan was around in the 90s. You get what I'm saying? None of this
Fear
stuff is like
Yeah.
Fear factor, right? None of this stuff is overnight sensation. This is just people who have been putting in work, and it just so happened they were already in that space when the podcast boom happened. I wanted to just ask you, when I look at those numbers, it's astounding because I'm like, damn, it's not really about me. It's about I've been able to work with people that every single week show up and say, you know what? Let's put the work in. Let's do this. Let's go. And let's keep grinding and grinding and grinding. And maybe there's no real conversation about what's the end goal. And that's why you and I, you alluded to earlier, we really need to get in that lab and figure out what's the purpose and what are we going to end up doing with this. But do you ever stop and think about that? Like, man, I've really been fortunate. I think about Mo, right? I think about Mo telling an infamous story about him having the podcast with the bros, as he called them. And it just reached a point where it's like, nah, man, they ain't want to do this anymore. Because he was talking about the importance of what it was to hit a certain episode milestone, hitting a number. That meant a lot to him because he had so many opportunities where it didn't happen. And now I'm somebody who came into the game and it wasn't even a question. And I'm like, damn, like I'm really fortunate to have people that are not only following my dream, but I'm helping them with their dream as well. Like, do you ever stop and just think like, damn, man, I'm really in a good spot for this?
All the time. All the time in the sense of, and we had this conversation a little bit earlier about talent. I don't really, I can't say that well, I guess I do. I view myself as talent, right? So in that, in my mind, it's like, I ain't doing none of the other shit that y'all niggas are willing to do. Shout out to you. Shout out to Mo, Ken, AB. I don't want to load the episode, bro. I don't want to cut clips. I don't want to come up with creative things to make people catch your attention. Like, I feel like that's somebody else's job. So one of the blessings that I've had in this space is to work with people to understand that Lou not doing that. I'm not putting, even though I tried with the Instagram clips that we did for the weeks, and I'll get back to that at some point, but I'm not trying to do that. My focus in this and why I got into this is to have the conversation. Once I have the conversation, you people that load the episode up, write the captions, make the clips, make the description of the episode, that ain't on me. I've done my job because I feel like I'm talented enough to make it make sense to when those people are doing that they can get the things that they need. I don't want to do that. I'm not in marketing. I'm not in any of those things in the sense of, oh, you got to do this to grow your brand. I came here and I started doing this in the sense of, I have an opinion that I feel like ain't like nobody else's. So let's have this conversation with these interesting people. Let's talk to Rich. Let's talk to Mike. Let's talk to AB. Let's talk to Mo. Let's talk to the own, like whatever it may be. I want to have the conversation, and I want to be prominent enough in those conversations as to where those people that work with me don't feel like it's a burden on them to make clips, to cut things, to write descriptions, as to where I ain't putting this on Spike. I know this nigga do 9, 10, 11, 12 podcasts. Like, I ain't putting this on him to make this palatable for social media. Because I don't care about that. I care about the conversation. But I know that other stuff is needed. And I've been blessed with meeting people like you, like Mo, like AB, like Ken, that'll be like, oh, I got the other stuff, bro. Show up. This is what time the show start. Come with who you are. We're going to make magic, talking, having conversations, and I'm going to handle the back end. I'm never trying to do the back end, bro, because that's not what I signed up for. Even when me and AB first started this, I told him, we can do the show you have he went to school for editing, music, audio, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You edit it, you put it out, you figure that shit out, and boom, let's go. I feel like my value add is on the mic. It's not behind the scene. I don't want to do that. That's not my passion. I don't care about any of that shit. I don't want to know how to do it. I've tried to learn and force myself to do it. It didn't hatch on. I know eventually at some point I'm going to have to learn or know the ins and outs of that, but I don't want it. That ain't my thing. I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Do you need to know? Like, all right, here, put it like
That's
this.
a good question. I do.
If
I feel like I need to know.
If Steve Kerr told Steph Curry to start posting up, we would all look at him like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Right?
Yeah,
like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, yeah. Why are you telling the best shooter of all time? Man. Yeah, like you shoot threes, Spike.
Thank you.
You know the offense.
I've never like that's not a thing to me. I'm not trying to learn how to edit videos, bro. I ain't trying to learn how to post on TikTok. I'm not trying to learn how to post on IG. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. But I know that it matters. And I've been blessed with, to your question, people who like, I got that. It's cool. I respect your opinion, what you do enough to be like, I come show up, do the show. I'm gonna handle the other stuff. And that's a gift and a curse, I feel like, too.
So when you say you need to learn how to do that stuff, I understand where you're coming from because just of who you are as a person, you want to have more tools in the toolbox, right? I get that. I think I would assume that's where you're coming from with that. If it worst come to worst, I want to be able to do that. I don't want to depend on anybody. If I had to break this down, I could.
That, and I can't call you or any of those people that I mentioned and be like, hey, I got this brand for Spike Lee and want to do this. Can you do this video for me?
Hold on. Why not? Why can't you? Why can't you?
There's extra shit on your plate. You do stuff. Everybody that I name has something else going on. I'm not the priority in their life. I don't expect to be the nigga to be like,
all right,
I'm gonna add this on to my plate because Spike needed. I don't know, and I'm open for the challenges, but let me get the thought off.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
From a self-deprecating standpoint, I don't know that I'm the person enough to be, or I don't know if people view me. I view myself as that. I want to be very clear, but I can't convince you, Rich, to be like, hey, take time out of your day to come up with this, whatever it may be, for Spike, the brand apparel that I want to do, and let's me and you run this campaign, but I'm only presenting you with the idea. You got to do the work. You got to be the nigga that's going like, all right, I'm going to go to Canva. I'm going to go to whatever these spots is. We're going to do the shirts. We're going to put the campaign together. I got this idea. I don't know that niggas.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's true. I don't know. But I guess it's a thing with, again, what we talk about here at Another Week in the Book. I guess it's a vulnerability thing. Like I ain't trying to present that to a nigga and be like, man, I'm not doing that, bro. I'm doing all the work. You can't show up and say, oh, I'm Spike Lee and I want to do a shirt and I want you to create this campaign. Like, I don't think that I'm in the position to do that.
Okay. So this is very interesting because I understand what you mean when you say I don't think I'm in the position to do that. I also look at it as, I can't remember if it was Mo that kind of said this, one of the best superpowers we can have for each other is asking the question of how can I help? What can I do to help you with your goals?
That was mine.
That was yours. All right, cool. I want to make sure I gave it the right credit. Spike Lee said it. And that's always set with me. And I want to give you credit for that because I think that's the way it should be looked at. A lot of times we look at this as currency. And it's almost I do for you, you do for me. And that's what keeps the balance in this. And once that scale is tilted too far to one side, that's when other things start happening. You get resentment, you get bad feelings, you get I do all the work, X, Y, and Z.
Facts.
I think we shift that and you keep a solid team. That's one of the big things we just got finished talking about. Just having solid, good, genuine people around you. I don't think any of those people are going to care, especially when we all do the same thing. It'd be one thing if it was just somebody who's not in the space or doesn't have any familiarity with Spike Lee, what Spike Lee does. You reach out to them. Hey, I see you're good at editing. I'm a podcaster. I need help with this. right? That's going to be the person that's going to be more prone to be like, bro, who the fuck are you? And why you want me to come up with your whole idea and take you up top and the whole nine? Versus somebody who's in the circle and it's like, you know what? I'm trying to get this brand. Remember, as soon as we started talking about the Spike shit early in the episode, I was like, bro, that's something I have a vision for just even rebranding that and how you can start doing that. I would have no problem doing that. Nate, who we had on a few chapters back, Nate posted on his IG, goal for 2026 to have a solo art show. Immediately screenshot it, I texted him right away. I said, bro, what can I do to help you with this? He didn't have an answer at the moment. He was like, I don't know. I said, all right, I'll continue to check up. Week and a half later, hey, bro, how's everything going with the art show? What you thinking? And then he actually had some context of like thoughts that he had, some concerns that he had. And based off the concerns, I was like, listen, maybe 2026 is not a realistic goal. Maybe it's 2027. Because he was just pretty much talking about, listen, it's hard to sit on art. It's hard to make something, and then because you need about 15 to 25 solid pieces for an art show. And he's like, it's hard to make this art that's going to take a month to make or maybe even longer and just have it posted up knowing that can help feed my family. And I'm like, all right, then, well, maybe. And so my suggestion was, all right, well, maybe it's every other. Maybe you make a piece to sell and then the next piece you keep. And then the next piece, and maybe that pushes the timeline back, but at least you're still aiming towards that goal. The whole point of it is I see my brother. I see him trying to accomplish something. I'm going to ask you what I can do to help. I think you have a lot of people who are willing to, and guess what? I suffer. I don't want to say us because I'll speak from my perspective. I have an issue of forgetting that all you need is one. All you need is one person that's going to say, all right, I got you. All right, I got you. I'm going to help out. Y'all been listening to the episodes the past this past episode we had with Portia. If you listen to it on the audio platform, you notice the music back. The music is back because Mo pointed out, hey, if y'all ever want it back, you can record a day earlier in the week. I have no problem. If you send the episode to me, I have no problem putting the music on there and sending it back to you. And guess what? We've moved our record days to Wednesdays. So now we finish this recording. I shoot it over to Mo. Even though Mo has kids, he has other stuff going on. Mo shoots it back, and now I can upload it. He does the intro on there, everything. I don't have to do anything. And that's Mo just saying, hey, if this is what y'all need, I'm here for you. And all we need is one person. I don't need 10 producers to do that. I need one person to commit to it. And the day Mo says, hey, I no longer have the capacity, then he no longer has the capacity. But I think all of us, and this is me talking to you, but this is me talking to me, Spike, because what you're saying, I'm the same way with. You feel like you have to do so much. You have to wear every single hat. And it's my responsibility. Nobody's going to be responsible for carrying out my dream and my vision outside of me. However, I think there are some people who are going to be close enough to that want to see you win. A win for you is a win for everybody. Like, you know what I mean? That's a win for real niggas all around. Like, as much goofy shit as I see on my timeline, I want to see more Spike Lee's on there. I want to see more people having those type of thoughts and opinions. So, same way in the hood when they talk about the person who was the hooper, right? We're gonna protect him because when he makes it, it feels like we all made it. And it doesn't mean that's a monetary gain. That doesn't mean that we get the clout. We ain't gonna be in the interviews. We might not be mentioned by name, but we knew as a community, we all made sure that this person got to their goal. They reached their dream. They have a talent, and we want to protect that and make sure they get there. And that's how I look at that situation. Where if you serious, now if you was bullshitting Spike, that's different. But if you're serious and you've been doing this for X long, what can I do to help? And it has to be two-way. So I get the hesitation because nobody's going to care about my shit more than I do. And I don't want to rely on people. I don't want to get to the point where relationships start being ruined because a nigga told me he was going to do something now he ain't doing. And now we got friction because you didn't have to tell me that. You volunteered to help me. You volunteered to help me. And now you're bullshitting with it. So now I look at you sideways. But
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I get it.
Because they talked about that.
Yeah.
They talked about that in the you'll get to it in the Young Thug interview. It's like people, us black men, not even people. Let me be very clear in how I say this. Us as black men carrying forward animosity because you haven't expressed your real feelings. You expecting a nigga to feel a certain type of way or to do a certain thing when you ain't told the nigga that this is what I expect of you. I think that's one of the biggest things for us as a community, as black men, to be very clear with our expectations. That's how the no snitches thing got so big. It's like you can run around and hang out with niggas who you know. If you were that type of nigga that I know when shit hit the fan, like that nigga right there, it's over. He gonna tell on everybody. You know that. But you still walk through those day-to-days and be like, oh, I fuck with him. That's bruh, whatever it may be. I know him from wherever, who in the third, or such and such a real nigga. He hooked me up with him. But you still have your inklings as a real nigga and being like, nah, it ain't, I don't know. I really, I can't put my finger on it, but I know that ain't it. Not to say he a bad person, but if shit really hit the fan with what we got going on, then he ain't riding with that. Getting away from street shit and that having nothing to do with it, but it has been a heavy influence on my perspective. That's the thing for me. And what you're saying, when you ask people to do something, and when you want them to do something, they say they locked in with you, but it starts to get traction or it doesn't get traction, and that animosity or thing that they carry with that they never express to you, that's the thing that is detrimental to a lot of relationships. It can be a lot of things like what you're saying. Hey, bro, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And they ain't never asked for no money, or you might have gave them some money. It might felt like it was enough money, or I'm doing way more than I thought that I would have to do. Niggas don't express that shit, and they carry that shit, and then it's a slight animosity. I've seen this happen in my friend group. I got two niggas now that ain't talked together, that they ain't talked in 2 years, and it ain't because it was some egregious, oh, he fucked my baby mama and nothing like that. It's just like y'all niggas didn't express the expectations to each other. So now you had this expectation, he had this expectation, neither one of them was met, and now neither one of y'all niggas is talking no more. Y'all been friends for 20 years. That's part of the problem with that, and that's what gives me like what you said makes perfect sense, and I agree with it. But the thing that gives me hesitancy with that is I don't think niggas are going to be open enough to be like, all right, I'll do this for you, Lou, but I need this, that, and third, or I'll do this. I ain't gonna ask for nothing, but I'm expecting you to give me something, and them being able to express that. It's gonna be like I feel like there's a certain this nigga think he this, that, and third. He trying to get me to do that. Like I don't, and that may be trauma or whatever it may be. But it's a lot to deal with in the sense of asking somebody to do something. It ain't just asking them and them doing it. It's asking them and knowing how they feel about it. Because niggas could ask you to do something and you could be like, okay, it's cool. That's my man's. I'll do it. But how you feel about it, my nigga?
Yeah.
Like how you gonna feel about it when I'm making money off of it and I ain't hit you off yet? Like how you gonna approach me when you want your check? How you gonna approach me when you see like, this nigga popping from this and it was like I think that, and that's what I appreciate about the relationship with you and I so much, even more. Like it's I can be honest with you. Like you ain't gonna go do nothing and me feel like, oh, I as Spike Lou did too much and Rich compensated too much off of it. And
Spike
I
Lou
ain't
get on Twitter
and
see me popping off a little stuff tweets. Like, hold on, man, what the fuck?
That ain't gonna happen.
Right.
But that's very rare amongst us as black men. Like us being able to express ourselves and not think that it has to escalate to it's beef. Ain't no beef, my nigga. I'm just trying to get an answer to the question. We get offended way too easily when it comes to stuff like that because we don't talk business enough.
Yeah. Going back to that surface level, you are 100% right. Because it's going to take both sides. It takes one side to present it and another person. I think the biggest obstacle there is that person needs to be honest about it. Like, it's okay just for somebody to come to you with an idea.
Both people.
Yeah, I just had this and I haven't responded to it yet. I just got a DM about a collaboration, and I don't have any interest in this. Like, not only am I not interested, you're gonna know that I don't care, which is overall gonna lead to not being as good as it could be if it was just you and this other group of people, right? Like it's just one of those things. Like, and that's fine. I think if I was
Why didn't you
bullshitting,
have any interest in it?
just a topic, it was just covering something and building something. Like it's not a bad idea. I just don't have any interest in it, or it's one of those things like, you know what, I might be brainstorming something myself, and I'd rather focus on that, even if it's a year later where it comes out. I'd rather focus on doing it this way versus just, once you having control, man, is one of the best things, especially when it comes to creatives, right? Versus being asked in on a project. I'm starting a project, so I have a little bit more control. Now that doesn't mean everybody's opinion is not valued, but it does mean like this is my brainchild, and that means I can have a little bit more say so in which direction this goes.
Facts.
That's a lot different. And once again, to what we talked about earlier, these are people I don't really know. Did one thing, and that was pretty much it. Good, solid people. So it ain't nothing to do with that. But I don't know how their emotional intelligence is. I don't know what comes down. What happens when I say this? I ain't gonna say dumbass idea, but hey, I'm not rocking with that. I don't agree with that, or I think it should go this way. Am I gonna get dismissed? And maybe that's cool, because once again, just because something gets dismissed, a thought or an idea, doesn't mean there's beef. It just means that it doesn't align with their vision. And guess what? Sometimes that vision doesn't work out. You kind of have to go your separate ways. But the person that's being asked has to be honest and be able to say, I don't have the capacity for that. I'm not able to do it. I think about Mo reaching a point where he said, I can't do another week in the books anymore because of X, Y, and Z. If Mo was just kind of spinning the wheels and going through the motions, the product would have failed. People would have noticed.
I respect it so much. I didn't like.
He needed a break. The 3 weeks. He needed a break.
Even me under 3 weeks, when he told me he didn't want to do it no more, I didn't like it. I don't think I've ever expressed that. I didn't like it.
Of course you didn't.
I felt like, yeah, I felt like it was such a good product.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why I asked him and had a short response to him telling me that is I had to process it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to processing that in real time and having a conversation with him and being like, what do you mean? This, that, and the third. Like, I immediately went to my content brain in the sense of, oh, people want to hear this. This is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't selfishly have this conversation with him on the phone at 4:00 in the afternoon when he hit me out the blue and said he didn't want to do it. And I think that's why he was surprised. And my response is like, okay, let's talk about it on the show. Everything ain't for content. I will agree with that.
Yeah.
But I do think that was for content because it was really important what he said. It was, and I knew that. I know Mo from the times of doing the stuff with him and being able to pick his brain. I understood him coming to me and saying this, and I won't say giving up on a project, but put me through the same thing that he went through with his friends when they were trying to build it's like, okay, this is something we need to explore. And it ain't a phone call. I'm just not that personable of a person for this to be a phone call and it to be effective. So that's when I told him, all right, let's talk about it on the show. And I think he took it as, oh, you won't even take like my feelings or what I'm going. You're nonchalant towards this. And that wasn't it at all. I seen the brilliance in it because I know who Mo is. There's brilliance in that. There's brilliance in, like what you said, a part of the first book being one of your favorite podcasts is us being able to have those conversations and hash them out versus it being an argument. I always reference that homework episode. That was a turning point for me in my life. Because
not one of my favorite podcasts, Spike Lou, my favorite podcast.
Your favorite podcast.
Okay.
Thank you for
not one
thank you
of,
for fixing that.
Definitely one of them. And
thank you.
To your point, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you continue. That's the reason why what you just said. It helped me change. It changed who I am and how I looked at things. I came on my very first appearance on Another Week of Books in book 1. I talked about a near fight turning into complete understanding because ask another question. I knew what was going on, just didn't make sense. And I had to get some clarification versus acting off emotion. That's what book 1 did for me. And I think it did it for a lot of people. But keep going, my bad.
And that's powerful. And that was my whole perspective in starting this podcast. And that one of my biggest fans, not fans is definitely the wrong word. Supporters. One of the person that kept me going the most into doing this was Big Jeff. That's why I love him so much in the sense of this space. He was like, no, bro, that's a good idea. Do that. Like, don't, it ain't had nothing to do with marketing or how many people will listen to it. But if solely for the response, if solely for me listening to it and getting something from it, I want you to do that. And he pushed me to do this and get this started. A lot of the reason why this started is because of him and the conversations that I had. He was like, no, you need to do that. Once I explained the concept and the idea to him. But to your point with Mo and how we got to doing it on an episode in the sense of it wasn't that I didn't want to have a personal conversation with him, which I felt like that he wanted to do. It was more so this is going to ring more valuable for people who are invested in this brand that you and I created, and they can get something from it versus me and you having a personal conversation. Because I'm gonna feel the same way regardless. I'm gonna present the same way regardless. It don't matter. Like it ain't nothing that I'm gonna say to you on this phone, us talking 3-4 hours before the show, that I'm not gonna say on the show. And I want you to know that, not in a disrespectful sense, but in the sense of that's how I view that platform. That's what it was created for conversations like this. And like you said, referencing it, like that was a powerful conversation. The homework conversation was a powerful. We could have did that off air. Like he could have told me. He could have told me off air, like, bro, I ain't fucking with how you respond to what I asked you to do. Like, we could have did that off air, but this platform is created for people to hear. And I'll reference back to that Young Thug conversation and all those phone calls. People are not used to hearing black men talk. They don't want to hear that shit. In a regular, normal, everyday setting, people do not hear black men talk. That's why we value barbershop conversation so much. We can go in there and be free and not be judged. And you can have a different opinion from another motherfucker in there, but you in the barbershop, it's a sacred place. We having this conversation. To expand that conversation to the masses, to more people to hear that and understand that I'm like you. It ain't this menacing figure in the corner. It's more so you just don't know how we talk. You just not familiar with how we get down and how we come to a resolution. I'm an advocate of having those conversations and people being like, damn, I didn't know that.
Yep. You're 100% spot on. And I'm glad that we all know and love Mo and understand the human element of it. But I am glad that the conversation was had because it was raw and it was authentic. And I know this happened before, but if that homework episode happens, honestly, and that's on brand. And you guess what? Mo has every right not to want to do it like that and do it the way he wants to. But I'm appreciative that he did. I'm appreciative that you had the homework conversation on air because in the most simplified way of it, and this is going to sound silly when I say it, but I don't mean it. But if you really break it down to its common denominator, if that homework episode doesn't happen, I punch a nigga in his face.
Good point.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like I know like that sounds silly.
But when I first started doing this, that's what the platform was for.
If I can't hear two black men that I know and respect, and even if I didn't know you, that have value and are having intentional, valuable conversations and are really trying to push the narrative of us using our voices and using our feelings and being vulnerable. If I don't have an opportunity to hear you go through conflict where I can clearly hear, I say Mo more than you, but Mo was very, very disappointed by it. And he expected more. And you didn't understand why it was that deep. If I can't hear you two come up with a resolution on that, because 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, 8 times out of 10 in our community, the podcast ends. It's over.
Facts.
Both sides saying, fuck this nigga, and it's on to the next thing.
I ain't got to
easily say, I just about to say this. Like you can easily say, I got a million other things, and this is my pod. Well, if you don't like it, then we can either date it or there's somebody else I can fill in the seat, whatever the case may be. But nah, there was none of that. Okay, we're human beings. We're going to have disagreements. There's no way we're going to see it everything the same way. Let's talk about it. Let's really get through it, and let's leave it in a good place to where now we know we're both good. Nobody's leaving this conversation wondering, I wonder if he still feels the way. Nah, we just talked about it. We hashed it out. We dapped up. We hugged, and now we're moving on to the next thing. Because if that doesn't happen, if I don't see how it is, if I don't understand the importance of not just hearing what someone's saying, but understanding why they're saying it, understanding why they're feeling that way, then I never asked those questions to somebody I had a conflict with. And then it ends up in a physical altercation in my 30s, which sounds fucking stupid. You know what I mean? So, to your point, I don't know how many other spaces there are that were providing that kind of context and providing that kind of content, and it was needed. And it wasn't popcorn's reality drama that people tune in for, like, oh, I heard such and such beef. And it wasn't like no jumper shit or anything goofy like that. It was like, nah, these are two black men, real people who are trying to do some things, and they have a real disagreement, like all of us do, and they found a way to handle it in a proper way. Versus both of them just being, you mentioned your friend. I can relate to a similar experience where one person's telling a mutual friend about all the issues they have with me, but never coming to telling me. Now the mutual friend's telling me, and I know. So now I kind of got to look at you a little bit funny, but it's no issue. I'm waiting on you to tell me. And I also, right or wrong, I also don't feel any responsibility to bring it up because it's your issue, not mine. I don't have an issue.
Yeah. I don't care. You ain't told me. Yeah.
So I would never approach it with you like, hey, I heard this, because I don't care. I'm not the one with the issue. Had I been the one with the issue, you would have heard this from me directly. We would have had a conversation. So that's why these conversations are important and making sure we can come to a common ground, because 99% of issues with people, my pops told me this, man. He said 90% of issues come from miscommunication and money.
Facts.
90% of issues come from that.
100%.
The other 10% is probably women.
That narrative that's out there about take podcast mics away from black men goes into how I subscribe to it too. And in that Young Thug interview, I felt like I was wrong in the sense of I went into it like you and me both went into it like, I don't give a fuck, bro. But there needs to be more spaces where people want to hear black men talk. It can be ridiculous. It's fine. You can dismiss it. It's fine that you don't agree with it. It's fine that it's insane what they saying. But I don't think that there are enough spaces where black men feel comfortable talking. And that's what this is. That's what Another Week in the Books premise is.
Yep.
Us black men being comfortable talking, being like, nah, bro, I ain't really fuck with that. And no one jumping down your throat and being like, bro, what are you talking about? You crazy? This is insane. Because it's not a music debate. It's not a sports debate. It's not a TV talk. It's black men being like, nah, bro, I was out Thursday and this happened to me and I don't know how to feel about it. Or this happened to me with me and my girl and I responded this way. She responded that way. I want to be free enough to be able to talk to you about how I felt, how she felt, and us talking through it. That's the platform that I imagined when I built Another Week in the Books and we first started talking about it. Like it's not about being famous or being a content creator. It's just a place where, and that's again why I sent you the Bank and Thug interview, because someone again told me this reminds me of Another Week in the Books. There need to be more. I don't look at Bank as competition or anything like that. There just needs to be more There just needs to be more spaces or places where black men can talk freely and people not judge them for it. I get the response when people be like, "I'll take the podcast, Mike. These niggas is tripping." But no, those conversations need to be out there. You need to know who is idiots. You need to know if niggas is crazy. Like, let them talk. Let them be dumb. Let them talk about $40 dates. Let them talk about the dumb shit, and you can know how to move your life accordingly. But there are niggas like me, like you, like Mo, that are talking and having that are having real conversations, and people need to hear that.
100%, man. You're absolutely right. You've done a great job of building this. And One of the best testaments is not only all the conversation you just mentioned, but somebody like Q, who I mentioned earlier, man, being comfortable enough to send a DM,
Facts.
say, "Hey, man, I want to connect with you and Spike, man. I just love what y'all talking
Same
about."
thing.
And just as a
Perfect.
black
That's
man,
a
just
perfect
seeing,
example.
yeah, just
Perfect
a black
example.
man
Like
seeing
I'm
these
a black
conversations are
man.
needed. I want to be
I
a
hear
part
a
of it.
black man talking. I want to have a conversation with
Yeah,
y'all. Ask
yeah,
me what you want to ask me. Great,
mm-hmm.
great appearance by him. And I
Absolutely.
think when Dro comes on, when Jeff come on, when Wash come on in a couple of weeks, all the people that we had on, like people being comfortable just having conversations as black men.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't gotta be hyperbolic. It ain't gotta be talking about, oh, it's the latest thing that happened with TMZ. This is like, these are the things that we fucking talk about.
And I just want to put this out there, and the importance of just doing it in a clean space, just being able to really just put it all out there, man. It's invaluable, man. It really is, and I think that's a perfect way to land the plane. I'm going to title. I know I didn't put the episode title. Sometimes I don't have any titles, and now as we got this conversation, we're going to name this one. You'll see it on the feed, or you'll see it on YouTube. Keep the mic on. That's going to be the title of this episode. Keep the mic on. Forget talking about taking the mics away. Keep it on, man, because Spike just did an incredible job of explaining why having the microphone on is important for better or for worse.
It's important to hear black men talk, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. It don't matter. I don't subscribe to the whole. Of course, I'm in the business, so I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But the whole narrative of take the microphones away from black men, podcast mics need to be abolished. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, people need to be more comfortable with black men talking. Whether it's ridiculous, and I agree, it's some ridiculous shit that is being said out there, but I still think as a whole, the majority of America need to be comfortable with hearing black men talk.
Yeah, let me stay away from Buddy, or let me gravitate towards Buddy. I get it.
Exactly.
Spike, I just want to tell you real quick, man. I think we just hit a new milestone in the sense of, Rome isn't built in a day, and here we are at chapter 41. And Spike and myself have had episodes on air where we talked about just kind of finding our footing and finding our groove and finding the identity and what we want to do. And it kind of goes and varies from one week to the next, but for both of us to not have anything on the agenda, like we didn't have anything on the agenda.
We had some stuff, but we didn't even get to it.
We didn't even get to it.
We didn't even talk about none of the stuff that we had planned to talk about.
Yeah, this was much better because it just kind of happened naturally because I mentioned a while ago to Spike, maybe 20 chapters ago, I said, you know what, I kind of view another week in the books as something where whatever's going on in our real life, we can be open and vulnerable about it. And, part of this conversation leading to it was just what motivates us to keep going, the whole nine. And it just kind of led into all of this. And it was really important. So I just want to salute you because to not have an agenda to come in cold and just to be naturally have 90 minutes worth of conversation, meaningful conversation, no bullshit, no crazy banter, no off-topic opinions or anything like that, man. I just think that's working in sync to its max. And I just want to salute you for being able to create that space. You know what I mean? And I think we're in a really good rhythm.
I salute you as well, my brother. I think this has been one of the better episodes. Like,
in my opinion, I think so.
Yeah, in the remnants of book one and how we used to do it. So I appreciate you for making the canvas available to be able to paint the picture that we painted this episode. And before we get out of here, I wanted to give Rich an update on my workout status. I had to wake up at 5:30. I woke up at 5:30 today to go do like a group workout with some work people and shit like that. But it kicked my ass. I ain't gonna lie. In a good way. You pause. I heard your voice in my head, like I was finna roll back over. I ain't gonna hold you. That alarm actually. So here's how the shit works. The alarm didn't even go off. So I'm thinking I woke up and I'm like, oh shit, I missed the alarm. I ain't hear that motherfucker. I'm thinking it's past the alarm time. It's before it. And I'm laying there maybe 5 minutes later after I woke up. the alarm hit. I'm like, God damn, I thought I was finna skip it because I'm like, oh, I missed the alarm. It's over. It's a wrap. I'm good. I got a little pass. My alarm didn't go off. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I woke up maybe 5 minutes before the alarm. I felt like that was already the universe telling me, nigga, go do this shit.
Yep.
And the alarm went off 5 minutes later because I was still laying there. And then I was like, what? I thought it was after that time. And the alarm go off. I hit the snooze button. I'm like, I ain't going, man. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing it. But I packed my bag, all that shit, because they say that's the thing. You pack your bag and all that shit the day, get ready the night before, and you'll like it'll be more easier for you to do it.
Yep.
So I packed my bag, I had everything ready for it, and the alarm go off, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it, bro. I ain't waking up this early to go do no workout. I can't. I'm sorry. Like I do too much. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And I hit the snooze on that joint, and I rolled back over, and I heard you say, "Nigga, get your bitch ass up!" Like I heard you say, like I swear to God, your voice was like, "Man, get your bitch ass up." And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it, man.
Yep.
And I thought about that, and I thought about because it was a group workout with the people that I work with, and they made it this big thing. Like, oh, let's all do this group activity, this, that, and the third. And it'll be great if everybody came out. And I'm like, man, fuck all that. I ain't want to look like no sucker in front of them. So I was like, okay.
Like accountability, you got all of that wrapped in there.
All that shit, all of that. And I was like, bro, I swear to God, Rich, I rolled back over and I was like, I ain't doing it, bro. And I laid there for like 1 or 2 minutes. And I'm like, let me look at the traffic. Pulled up the traffic.
You say, I love it because you were still looking for reasons to not go.
I was still looking for reasons.
I love it.
I pulled up the traffic. No traffic.
Yep.
Straight through 45-minute drive, nigga. You will be there 10 minutes for the class start. Ain't no reason for you not to go this.
No excuse.
Damn. So I set my alarm for 7:50. I was like, I just wake up later and just go into the office. And I'm like, and I rolled over and I laid for like 1 minute. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I can't do that, man. I can't do that and be the type of person that I present myself as and be like, oh, I'm just gonna skip the workout when everybody expecting me to be there. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? And I told you about it the day before. I told my mom about it. Like, I gotta do it. So I got up, I got my ass up and went and done a workout. It started at 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. It was a beast, to say the least, but I'm glad I did it. And I appreciate you, my brother, for motivating me to go do it. Because I sure would have rolled back over and not done that shit. And it showed me that I ain't never doing that shit again. This nigga signed us up like this was the CEO of my company. He signed us up for some bullshit. It was like the top of the level alpha dog workout. Like I ain't doing some military workout shit. Yeah, this nigga had me in there looking crazy. I ain't never doing that again. I didn't quit. I finished the workout, but I'm never doing that again. I will do workouts that work me up to that. That's my goal. That's a new goal that I have now, that I can go in there and be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna dominate this shit. But I will sign up for other workouts and be more continuously to that so I can get to that workout. That is what it made me understand. And I appreciate you for telling me and you talked about it to go do it. So
yeah, man. I'm glad you did, man. Shout out to you. I'm proud of you, dog. Real shit. I really am, man. Because that extra hour and a half or whatever much sleep you would have gotten, that workout was more satisfying. Even though it kicked your ass and it was some bullshit, it's better than knowing. It's something about getting your day started and knowing that I just showed up. Sometimes part of the battle is just showing up. I just showed up. I don't really give a fuck how well I do. I showed up and we about to do it. And now it sets a precedent. So I'm proud of you, man. Real shit. Because I know how hard it is to get back in the workout game and just even get up in the morning after doing all the extracurriculars and recording and doing a million things. Right, man. That's some other shit. So
after recording,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's salute, real shit, man. I'm proud of you, and I think that's a perfect way to end it. Chapter 41. This is a great conversation, man. Great chapter. We appreciate
I
all
think this
y'all
one
out
of our
there.
better episodes.
I do too, especially just, when it comes to you and I. So shout out to all y'all out there for listening. Please remember to subscribe, like, share. Bookworms, we see y'all. We appreciate you. We'll see y'all next week for chapter 42. Let's get better this week. We out.
Let's do it.